welcome to another episode on the channel. Trying to get as many videos as I can out to you guys so that I can share my tips, hints and tricks, all to do with carp fishing. In this episode, we're going to talk about simple rigs. Okay, I think it can be quite easy to get sucked in and drawn into everything that you see online with all these fascinating rigs that involve multiple swivels and different parts of hook links and all the other faff. I think if we can just go back to bare basics, still catch the fish. At the end of the day, the fish have been caught on every single rig that's known to man. So they're not unfamiliar with anything, but I think sometimes the simplest rigs can often give the fish the most difficult time because it wouldn't be used to it. I think if everyone's fishing certain rigs, the fish are going to get used to it, and the minute they come across a rig that they haven't seen before, or potentially one that hasn't been used for a very long time, because people drift away from the simple things, I think it can be quite easy to land a lot of fish using a simple rig. The rig I'm going to talk about today is probably one of the easiest to tie, other than a hair rig, a standard hair rig. But I just find that the difference between this rig and a hair rig is it's slightly more difficult for the carp to deal with, for the simple reason it's blowback style, and that's the rig I'm talking about. So it's going to be a slip D. This rig itself only needs 4 components realistically. So you need your hook length material, okay, so any uncoated braid will do. You can use coated, but you're going to have to strip the final section off, but I much prefer using this rig either inline or drop-off style with uncoated braid. So grab your uncoated braid of choice. You're going to need a hook. The hook pattern that I recommend is going to be a long shank. You can see that, it's a long shank, so we've got plenty of hook to work with on the slip D, and you'll understand once I've made this rig how it works, why you need such a long hook. Next thing you're going to need is going to be simple micro ring swivel or bait swivel. You can use a bait screw if that's what you prefer. I much prefer floss. And then you're going to need a hook kicker as well. Okay, so your choice in colours, I just prefer using black. With me fishing this rig inline or drop-off style, okay, so I'm going to be wanting quite a short hook length, so anywhere between 5 and 7 inches, all right. My sweet spot's probably going to be about 5 inches for this if I'm fishing it drop-off. It's important that once the carp picks up the bait, or the fish picks up the bait, it comes in direct contact with the lead. And with this being blowback style, once the fish blows the bait back out, it's going to really drive that hook point into the lip and hopefully get you on. And then it's just a case of you landing the fish. We'll get into the actual construction of the rig now. The only tools that you will need, or tool that you will need, is a pair of scissors. That's just how simple this rig is to make. First thing we're going to do then is we're going to grab a section of our uncoated braid. Again, when I'm making all my rigs, just take plenty off. It's only cheap in reality, so don't be scared of taking too much off. If we mess up, we can always just use part of the same length again. So first thing we're going to do then is, in one end, we're going to just double the line over, so we've got a loop. We're not going to tie anything at this point. And then all we're going to do from there is pass the line through the eye of the hook, like so. So that's what we're going to be looking for there. Okay, so we've doubled it over and we've passed both lines through. From there, we're going to simply thread on our bait swivel or bait screw if that's what you're going to be using. Once we've got that on, from there, that's what we're going to be looking to have. So we've got our swivel on there now. All we're going to do is pull that loop over the hook itself beyond the point, so as to trap the bait swivel itself. So once we've done that, we've got our bait swivel there, that's what we're going to be looking for. So we've got a bait swivel there. Now then, we want the end of that loop, or the furthest possible place that the bait swivel can travel, is going to be right on the bend of the hook. So about there. Okay, I'm going to hold that in place, and we're going to grab our longer tag end, which is going to be what's used for our actual hook link itself, and we're going to just knotless knot this. So we're going to go around once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it in place, back twice over all of the knot, all right? And then we're going to simply thread that line through, like so. Now we should have something that looks a little bit like that. So we have our knotless knot with our swivel on. We have our longer tag end, which is going to be used for the actual rig itself. And we also have a tag end, which is not going to be used. So with the bit that we're not going to use, we're going to simply snip that off. Now it's looking a little bit neater. So next thing we want to do is we're going to make sure there's nothing frayed at the end of our rig, like so. We're just going to thread our kicker onto the line and pull that all the way up to the hook. The way that we get the kicker over the hook easily is just by wetting it. A little bit of spit, and then we'll just thread that on, covering our knotless knot and giving our rig a little bit of a kick. Just makes it that little bit more difficult for the fish to deal with. So I'm happy with that. That's what we're going to be looking at there. It's got that nice aggressive angle on it, and it's blowback style as well, which is going to make it even more difficult for the carp to deal with. And then in the other end, we're just going to create a little figure of 8 knot to our desired rig length, which is going to be probably 4 to 5 inches, because I'll be fishing it drop off style. We'll do our figure of 8, grab a baiting needle to pull the other through, and then we're just going to tease it down, wet the rig nicely like that, snip off the tag end, and there we have an easy, it is so easy to make this rig, but essentially that's what we're going to be looking for there. So we've got 4 to 5 inches of hook length, all right, hook link material, into a size 4, that's a size 4 long shank hook, and then we've got a kicker on there as well and a bait swivel. The way that the rig works is if I grab my baiting needle, I'll show you how the rig actually works. So we've got the hook kicker on there, which is going to promote the turning of the hook, but essentially once that fish sucks the hook into its mouth, tries to blow the bait out, there's a lot of movement there, so the hook doesn't move but the bait gets blown out, and that drives the hook home, hopefully nailing it in the bottom lip and having you a fish on. The little loop at the end, using our quick change swivels, we can just clip another rig on, and then you're good to go. The only thing we will add to that, obviously when we put it on, is going to be an anti-tangle sleeve, just to prevent it from tangling up. But that is the complete rig. This is, like I said before at the start of the video, this is one of the easiest rigs to tie. You've just seen me there, it's taken me a matter of minutes to tie it up from fresh. It's got a hook kicker on there to promote the turning of the hook. It's got the blowback style as well, which just aids in really driving that hook home once the fish picks it up, tries to get rid of it. It's just a real difficult rig to deal with, and I think that not a lot of anglers, especially new anglers, are going to know about this rig, or potentially have used it in the past but don't anymore. My takeaway on this video is going to be, don't get sucked into social media, don't get sucked into all these fantastic new rigs that are coming out. Go back to basics and just fish effectively. This rig, for me, always use it on the bottom. So if it's a hard bottom, clear, gravel bottom, anything like that, get a nice big bait on it and chuck that out inline style or drop off, and you will have some success. I've had a lot of success with that rig myself. I do fish the Ronnie rig quite a lot, to be fair, but that's just due to the lakes that I fish over. They're very silty, very weedy, so I need that helicopter style with a Ronnie rig. However, if you're on runs water as a beginner, then this rig will catch you fish 100%. Obviously ensuring that your hook point is sharp and you've created the rig exactly how I've told you today, you won't have any issues whatsoever. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, then please like the video itself, drop us a comment on what you'd like me to review or what videos you'd like me to do next. If you could like and subscribe, that would be excellent. That'll really help the channel. Try and get to that 1,000 subscribers mark, and then we'll try and go further than that. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.